Hey, it's me, Ricky again. I'm here to make my second video blog post for my senior project, and I had actually made a video last week, but when I went back to look at it, it was all out of focus and the sound kept cutting off, so I'm here making another one. What I want to talk about today is life before I came out, I guess. So I think it probably dates all the way back to middle school when I first started like exploring myself. So basically, as a kid, I'd be online doing all this stuff, like, I'd be on Club Penguin or something like that, or I'd be on MomoLevel.com doing all these crazy things. The internet, vast variety of things. So, I was on the internet one day and I was trying to Google search, I think it was the name of a roller coaster or something, and this thing popped up, and I clicked the first site, and it was porn, and I was just kind of like, whoa. My mom was just like, never go to those types of blogs, one of those things where you, like, cover the eyes of the children, and you're just like, oh my god. But I saw that, and like as soon as I saw that, I immediately clicked away. But I knew what I saw, and I was just kind of like, whoa. And so time went by. This, like I said, early middle school, and I think the fact that I wasn't supposed to be looking at what I looked at just drew me in more, I guess. So every now and then, like every couple of weeks, I'd go to that website, be like, and then just leave, just simple, innocent, nothing going wrong, as long as mom doesn't find out, so she doesn't freak out. And so that's what I did at first. And then this is while I was still in the States. So I moved to Italy, where I'm still at now, and I kept exploring that. And once I realized what it was, I was just kind of like, interesting, So I was a little bit intrigued, And so I started looking at more websites like that, and more I saw it, the more I went into it. I mean, it's kind of disgusting when I look back now, because I was like, what, 7th grade when I did this, and I was like looking at all this porn online, I guess. But that's part of the story. And at first I thought there was nothing wrong with it, I was just kind of like exploring, seeing what's around. And I didn't really know what gay people were. I didn't know what homosexual was. I didn't know any of that. I didn't know what was good and what was bad, or bad to the world, I guess. And so I just kept doing this stuff. And I remember actually going to church one day, when I still went to church, sitting in the pew, and they were all like, all homosexuals will burn in hell. And I was just kind of like, what the fuck is a homosexual? Like, hello? So I just, just kind of, and then like as time went on, I found out what that was, and it was somebody who was attracted to the same sex. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, well, why is that bad? Like, I never really understood. So I kept going through, but when I found that out, it was just kind of like, okay, maybe I should really start keeping the secret, not tell anybody, This looks serious. So, I started keeping it to myself, but I kept exploring. I knew it was forbidden, but I was just drawn in, and all this stuff kept happening. And then, I learned all this stuff, like, coming from a Catholic family, like Hispanic Catholic. We were like hardcore religious people, and I was just kind of like, whoa, this isn't good, So I learned that, like, looking at, like, gay porn was wrong, masturbating was wrong, all this crazy stuff. And I didn't know any of this. Like, at first I was just kind of, like, doing this all, thinking everything was good and dandy, thinking nothing was wrong. But then the church told me otherwise. So I was just kind of like, whoa. So I was kind of ashamed for a little bit. Didn't know really what to do, but I kept going. So time goes by, like, I'm obviously, like, attracted to the same sex. And, I just kept it to myself because I didn't want people to be like, oh, this person's going to burn in hell, die of AIDS and all that stuff. 'Cause people were really judgmental. And I'll never forget, like, middle school, I think that's a problem that everybody goes through with, is people come up to you, like, the second you, like, you're not, like, dominant male figure, you're just like, well, are you gay? Are you gay? Blah, blah, blah. And, like, the first time I heard that, I was, like, shocked and terrified. And I was just kind of like, no, I'm not. And it just terrified the hell out of me. And, like, I was walking around like, I hate gay people too, blah, blah, blah. When I see one, I'm going to be like, you're going to hell, because I was just kind of, like, trying to fit in with the crowd. And so, that kept happening, and it was just freaking me out. And I was just kind of like, okay, I really, like, need to not tell people this. Keep it to myself. And that kind of problem, I guess, where people come up to you, are you gay, blah, 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 just joking around or being serious, whatever they are, just got worse as I went into high school. I hit my freshman year. And I was really good friends with this one kid all throughout middle school. And when we got to my freshman year, we just, like, it was a mutual drift. Like, we didn't hate each other. We just kind of, like, he got into sports and I got into theater. And I tried doing sports, but I couldn't juggle sports and theater at the same time, so obviously one had to give. And the soccer team here was shit, so I chose theater. But we decided to drift, and this rumor went around, this base over here saying, we're not friends anymore because that kid's gay and tried to hit on me, and I was just kind of like, what? And that really kind of scared me, because then people were like, oh my god, that kid's gay, blah, blah, blah. He has been in a relationship and forever. And let me just clear this off. I am not a relationship person. I have gone through my entire high school, I think, relationship free, not because it's happened that way, because I wanted it to stay that way. I like being single, being able to do what I want when I want, and not having anybody interfere with that. Irregardless, though, that happened, and I was really upset like that, and that's when I really just started to hate this kid. But other than that, I guess this was good. It's kind of weird. I'm looking into this camera, and I'm not really used to video vlogs. I don't know. And yeah, so that just kind of got worse. And then, my mom started being suspicious too. Not that I was gay, but she was like, well, blah, 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 you're doing this, this, and this. And then, I think what kind of threw her off track was the fact that, one day she was going through my laundry, and she found a bunch of condoms, and she was just like, oh my god, you're going to get people pregnant. I was like, no. Still won't. But she was like, oh my god, you're going out and have sex with all these girls. I'm like, do you think I'm stupid? No. And she didn't believe me. She was like, this kid's having sex with all these girls, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, whatever. Let my mom believe what she wants to believe. And that's honestly, I think, when the relationship with my mom started going downhill. My freshman year, I was just kind of like, let me do my own thing. Stop doing all these assumptions. You don't know what's happening. And that was just really bad. And before I came out, I was getting would have these moments where I was like, I need to tell people. But then other moments were stronger, saying, no, don't, because, you don't know what's going to happen. So I just kind of went through high school, myself. I focused on me, trying to get through all this. And then all this crazy stuff happened. This is probably going to be one of the longer posts. I'm trying to do all of my before I came out now. But keeping it in, really probably made me more depressed than anything, was just keeping it in for that long a period of time, from middle school all the way up to about my junior year. So, my junior year, I was getting really depressed, and the drinking age over here in Italy is 16. So I started drinking a lot, because that would help cover up, it would help me stop thinking about all this crazy stuff, should I do it, should I not, should I do it, should I not? So I started drinking a lot. I would go through about a bottle a week of hard liquor, at least. That was back when I was a lightweight, so that was a lot. And so I did that, and then I started, I was friends with this one kid. He was like, you want some weed? And at first I was like, yes, but then I was like, you know what, no, let me not do that. So I never did that. However, I did start taking a bunch of NyQuil, cough medicine, stuff like that. I would take triple C's and get really high, just because, I took my mind off everything, and, I knew it wasn't healthy. So up in around the time of December of last year, I was just kind of like, I'm going to do it. One day, it just came out of nowhere. I came out to my parents, and it was just out of that. But that's going to be an entirely different video blog. But basically, yeah, before I came out, I didn't know what was wrong. I really didn't. I had no idea that being gay or homosexual was a bad thing until the church decided that they wanted to tell me that. Had the church never told me that, I would have never seen anything wrong with it until, maybe the public came up to me. But besides the point, yeah, I was just kind of nothing was wrong. And then I started coming to school and people were like, are you gay? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, why? They're like, 'cause that's bad. And I was like, oh, okay. Thanks for the warning. But then, I think keeping it in for that long made me really depressed. And like I said, I started taking NyQuil, I started drinking a lot, and it was just not a good time in my life. So I think that about wraps it up for before I came out of the closet, I guess. If you guys want to ask specific questions, I can make another video blog, because I'm trying to reach out to you guys and help as much as I can. But if there's anything specific you can think of, before I came out, how'd you deal with this before you came out, or how'd you deal with this, I'd be glad to answer those questions. But I think my next major video blog will be my actual coming out story and all that, and that'll be a long video blog itself. The course of 3 days, I could completely describe to you. I remember every small detail, and I'll probably remember for the rest of my life. But until then, just leave comments, questions. I'll gladly answer them, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I'm sorry I didn't make a video last week, but the video was really blurry, and this is the only time I've had to make another one. and I actually got to use my film studio, so there's good lighting now. So I'll see you guys as soon as I can, and just take care of yourselves. Be strong.